Saira. Just to recollect what we were discussing last week, Swami is reiterating the need for sense control and the mind control. That's the only way to overcome the vasanas. And I think the last sentence was that for all this, we need firm faith in the Lord. And through that, and with the help of Viveka and Vairagya, detachment and discrimination, we will be able to achieve this, is what Swami has said. So I will ask the sisters to continue from where we left off. Thank you, sisters.
Control the senses as well as the mind. The senses can do nothing by themselves. They are not independent. If the mind is brought under control, the senses can also be controlled. Some people undergo mere asceticism of the senses in order to control the mind. They are ignorant of the real discipline that is necessary. The real discipline is the destruction of desire. However vigilant waters may be, a clever rover can still steal in 100 amazing ways. So too, however skillfully you may try to control the senses, the mind will drag them to its side and execute its desires through them. Note how the sage Viswamitra, in spite of his austerities, fell before the wiles of the celestial nymphs, Apsaras, sent by Indra to tempt him. If only the outer door is closed and the inner door is left unbolted, calamity is certain. But if both the exterior and the interior doors are safely bolted, you can sleep peacefully. For no thief, however clever, will find it easy to enter and do harm. Therefore, the aspirant should establish mastery over the external senses. Then the mind, immersed in the continuous succession of subject, object, Vishaya, relationship, has to be controlled by means of peace, Santi, and renunciation, Vairagya. When that is done, one can experience real spiritual bliss, Ananda, and visualize the Atma in its real form. That is why Krishna once told Arjuna, those who aspire to have mastery over the senses must have full faith in me.
Thank you very much, sister. I think we discussed this.
Yeah.
The reality is, if you look at every single indriya or sense, whatever we see, whatever we hear, has a significant impact in our mental state. And even the peace of mind we have will be lost. And all our bad qualities will raise their head, anger, hatred, and so on. And so I think that is, if we are vigilant, and Swami says, for that, we need devotion and faith in the Lord. Those are thoughts I came to me, and I will open it up for anyone who would like to share something. We had discussed it last week as well, but anyone can share anything. Saira. If there's none, maybe I think Swami is still continuing, sisters, to talk about the same subject. Maybe we can read on. Thank you.
The senses are always extrovert in nature. They are greedy for external contacts. Therefore, they drag the ignorant perpetually toward external objects. So the spiritual aspirant, endowed with discrimination and renunciation, must place obstacles in their outward path and suppress their outbursts, just as the charioteer wielding the whip and the reins does to the raging steeds. Uncontrolled senses cause great harm. People in the grip cannot engage themselves in meditation even for a single second. Cultivate good habits before concentration. Form, rupa, is fundamental for concentration and meditation. Even in the absence of the form in front of you, you should have the capacity to visualize it. This is not so difficult for those whose concentration is correct. But some practice concentration without first cultivating good habits and right conduct. That is a sign of incomplete knowledge. Concentration must have the pure qualities, sattva gunas, as the basis. The mind has to be purified by proper treatment of the character through good habits. Concentration has to follow this purification process, not precede it. All effort for concentration without cleansing the mind is a sheer waste of time. Many great men have ruined their careers by aspiring there early for concentration without the discipline of good habits.
Okay, I will. I think it's Swami has very clearly spoken as to what should precede what. So I think I will stop here and I will open it up for discussion. Others can share your thoughts, please. Saira.
Sairam, the first paragraph here belongs to the earlier
Yes.
passages. So, better make a
Discuss that
complete.
first.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Please, yeah. So let's focus on the first paragraph first, I guess. And Swami is telling how we have to stop the indriyas by putting obstacles. Swami says, place obstacles,
Yeah.
and overcome them. So I will ask others to share their thoughts, please.
Oh, Sairam, just to understand it better, I guess what would be some examples of that, of placing obstacles?
Oh, good sister. Sister's asking what are some examples of placing obstacles in the outward path of the senses, the mind. This is a question which sister is asking.
Sairam, just turn your face away from what you are looking. So that is an obstacle actually. So usually, so when something is attracted, we look at it and admire it, or we look at it and start to hate it. So what's the obstacle that we can put to prevent it is easy. We have to turn our face away from that scenery. No? That is a direct way of putting an obstacle actually. So not visiting a place where we get distracted or attracted. So there are so many ways that each one can try to do.
So, Sairam, brother. So my understanding is, so if I'm going to bring the same example. If you look at a woman, beautiful woman or beautiful girl, what you will think? Your eye is going to look at. Let the eye do the work. What we discussed before, that sense is going to do their work. Our mind is important. If our mind is good, if your thinking is good, it's not going to affect. Even if you have a gold chain or anything, then you have to ask self-inquiry whether it is good for me, whether I have enough money, is it worth for me? So if you started to ask question within you, and you will avoid. So in that way, that you get some knowledge and the jnana will be cultivated. That is my understanding. Thank you, Saira.
Thank you very much, brother. Thank you. Anyone else would like to?
Saira, I accept this recent explanation that if we control the mind, everything will control. That we already learned about that. That in the army, that major that control first, then other things will control. There's no hope for that other things. That mind will control easily, and this is my understanding. And yeah, that the examples that Swami has given, that the Vishwamitra that also that has problem with the Apsaras, that because he didn't control his mind, that's the problem for him. If you control the mind, he didn't worry about it. So that if you control the mind, the other things cannot, the senses cannot do nothing, I guess. Thank you, Saira.
Thank you very much, brother. Sairam.
Sairam.
Go ahead, Andy.
Yeah. Just turning our face from the sense objects will not work out. The wish or the desire will still linger on in our minds. Just turning our face will not work out. What we can do is to divert the mind in a better way. Take that, for example, those who are interested in music or in art or in something, you can just immerse yourself in that music, so much so that you completely forget about the things which are threatening to you. That's a great renunciation, of course, renunciation of what desire you had. That is one thing. And another thing, as you say, we can avoid the places where the sense objects attract us. And one more thing is love of God, Bhakti Marga. If you can turn our attention completely towards God, your bhakti, your devotion will make you forget about all the desires that you have for the external objects. Saira.
Saira, very good, sister. But here the question is, because the senses are always extrovert in nature. They are greedy for external contacts. Yeah. Therefore, they drag the ignorant perpetually toward external objects. So the spiritual aspirant endowed with discrimination and renunciation must place obstacles in their outward path.
Yeah.
What is the obstacle we can put? That is what Kalyani was asking.
Kalyani was asking, yeah. No, diverting our mind, that is the only way. Yeah. The mind is the responsible for all our desires and objects for in the outside external world. Same mind which goes after these things, it can be diverted. That's the only way how you can. Of course, it needs a lot of effort on our part. With God's grace, we might be able to achieve that. Saira.
Saira. And the Baba is bringing a good analogy. He's saying, just as a charioteer wielding the whip and the reins does to the raging steeds. So when the horses are mad and they try to go they are dragging vehemently. So what? That's a question. So the Baba is saying endowed with the discrimination and renunciation. That is very important. We understand that we need to have the discrimination. Oh, if I follow that, I will end up like this. That's a discrimination. And renunciation, of course, again.
Renunciation of your wishes for the desire for your sense objects. that is the, you renounce that and take the another path. Take another path so that you know that you can control. And moreover, the charioteer who is wielding the whip and the reins, he will be he can control the raging horses, which take away. He can control if he is able to manage the reins properly. Maybe these raging horses might be controlled.
Yeah.
Saira.
But I think the sharing, okay, stop.
Sorry, I'm just having a computer issue. I will bring it back up. Sorry.
Okay.
So, Sairam, brother, I like that one, the Baba saying about the nature. The nature, the mind, always, everyone nature is going outward with the Maya. So we have to train, we have to learn how to turn our invertedly instead of going out. It's like whatever we discussed before, the mother, when the baby born, the nature is giving milk. So after some time later, mother changed, even though kids doesn't like that solid food, mother slowly, patiently, she feed the solid food. Eventually, the milk is not the nature food, the solid food become the nature food. Same thing, our nature is going outward, so we, by practicing invertedly, so we can control the mind. That's what Baba is saying about the rain. Who can, charioteer is the intellect and that reins are the mind. Who can control very well the reins? The obedient horse will reach to the right destination. If the horses are not obedient to the reins, you cannot reach to the destination. So discipline and training, all important. Thank you, Sairam.
Sairam, brother, thank you. Anyone else would like to share any thoughts, please?
Sairam, in that same point, I have a slightly different view. I agree with we have to place some obstacles in its outward path to suppress our the external desires, but too much obstacles also sometimes even a little thing, if it is a moderate or if it's a balancing perspective, we may continue for longer time. If we put too much, if I really like the chocolates or something, maybe the sweets, cutting the sweets or something, if I put really too much, the control, one day I would suddenly get into the opposite way, even I would go even worse than the original state. That's why I know the Swami said we must place obstacles even in that one. Simply, I think already Mani Aunty nicely explained that point, not only placing the obstacles, but the maybe mentally or mentally we have to justify why we are doing whether this control is really needed, and what would be the outcome, and those things are much more important than simply putting an obstacle. Okay, I wouldn't look at that movie, or I wouldn't go to the the concert, or I wouldn't go to the pub. Maybe once a while, even in the Canadian the lifestyle, the people, they go to concert or movie theater or something. So if we renunciate everything, this is my personal view. Even we renunciate and discriminate everything, and I would be thinking in myself, okay, I have renunciated everything. I'm a very different person. I would just, I wouldn't go outside and look at anything, everything, that would take me, in a different path or different way. sometimes, those things, it would take us very opposite way. Maybe after, the little while, then we would be really fed up and we would just come back to even worse than the original state. That's my little thinking on that one. Before we putting obstacles, maybe we have to intelligently and wisely think about why we are doing what we are doing, and rather than putting the obstacles, and the rational or reason behind is very, very important, in my humble opinion. Thank you, Saira.
Thank you very much, sister. Anyone else has something to say?
Sairam, so Bhagawan is saying that external and internal doors have to be closed. So he is talking about the external door. That's what. So internal door, of course, we have to use our knowledge, discrimination, and mind control and everything different. And the external, in this, that's what it is connected to the previous paragraph. Yeah. So it is a very good point, Anandi said. So this all depends on how we different. It is different from people to people. Some people may have done that part and progressing towards. So it depends on the person. Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, brother.
Yeah.
Anyone else has something to say?
Saira, we can take a lot of duties in our home, our workplace. We occupy with our mind with all kind of works, which is good benefit for the society or the house. That we can put obstacles for our external mind. Thank you.
Thank you, brother. Anyone else? Maybe I will just share it. It's good, nice to hear from everyone. Different aspects, all of us try, I guess, different things. But I think Swami places a lot of importance on discipline. And I think Swami has already in the Dhyana Vahini itself, earlier on itself, Swami has discussed this about sense and sense control. I think what happens generally is, Swami has said you should watch what you eat, what you look at, what you hear or listen. Those are the ones which really cause problems. Swami has touched upon them. And I think to Sister Anandi's point, sometimes we do it over and then, we come back and we fall down harder. I think one of the reasons for that is, for example, if you don't want to watch a movie or if you don't want to go somewhere, everything is fine until somebody else comes and talks to you. You are in touch with somebody who is not controlling those senses. In my view, this is what happens. See, for example, we may come for bhajan, or every day everything is fine, or we may come for study circle and we are peaceful, we are able to engage. Then what happens? Somebody who is not really interested in it comes and talks to us. Then the next time when we come, we will not be able to concentrate on the study circle or on the bhajan. But then we should, I right away analyze this discussion and this conversation has caused me to lose all the benefits which I have gained for the past so many years, like Vishwamitra. Then we should know how to put a stop to that. That's what Swami says. With a whip also you can hit the horse also. Because sometimes it happens to all of us. We take a path of sadhana, everything is going on until something comes and disturbs it. So the thing is, Swami has talked about good company, bad company already. So I think company also plays a role, whether it's company with objects or a company with different scenery, situation. It's also the company with people who are not in the same wavelength as us. So that's why Swami says always be around people who have the same vision, same thing. Otherwise, what happens? We will go to the bhajan and we will not be able to focus on the bhajan. We will come to the study circle, read, but our mind is somewhere else. We are not happy. We are even angry. You know, also all sorts of comes only because of this. Just one uncontrolled senses cause great harm. So I think it is sometimes discipline is good. Swami say, you know, Swami has clearly told what you should eat, what you should see, what you should not see. If we basically follow this, Swami will say you will progress. Well, you know, somebody I remember. Apparently, once someone had come to Puttaparthi and they asked Swami, you know, in this ashram, everyone seems to be not taking sadhana very seriously. But Swami has apparently told, if people come here and experience a type of discipline and the sadhana which we have put in place, they don't have to do anything fancy. They just follow this, right? Get up at the right time, don't talk to people, maintain silence, eat sattvic food, engage in bhajan puja, read something good. Your life, you will become liberated soon. That's what Swami had told. So sometimes even those basic things we are unable to do because when we come and come to the outside world, other people put obstacles in our own path of spirituality. I think that happens. If that is not there, and then everything is fine. So sometimes for us to even put obstacles in the outward path as to what we see, what we hear, what we eat, it's also, it's good if we can maintain the right company to support it. And sometimes, as Mani Auntie said, the right company is to think of God. As she said, divert the mind, because that is an integral part of sadhana is what I feel, because without what Mani Auntie said, whatever we do will actually fail. And we will end up where I think what Sister Anandi said, we do something and then we go all the way back. We go in opposite direction. It happens, I think it happened to Vishwamitra. You know, he was doing penance and Menaka or somebody came and then he started interacting with her, and that was the end of that. It is not that he would have seen her one day and everything went. No, interaction, company. Instead of having company with God, he was having company with her, and that took him to lose all the years of sadhana. That's what Swami is referring to. That's what I thought. So I'll stop here. Maybe I spoke too much. Sai Ram. But I think in everyone contributed different aspects. If we put it all together, I think we will be fine. That's what I see. Everyone's point was valid, but it is just that we cannot miss any of the points which was mentioned, and I think that will take us forward. Thank you. I hope it's okay. If anyone has something to say about this topic or the second paragraph, please do so, Saira.
Brother, the last sentence in the second paragraph, many great men have ruined their careers by aspiring early for concentration. That sentence I didn't understand.
Saira, I was thinking, and let me tell my idea, okay? Others can check it whether it's correct. You know, even in the current world, in the present day, there are some swamis. They say they achieved and they have ashrams and followers and everything, but we see them, they are not going in the right direction, because they did concentration through some techniques, but they didn't mature actually. They didn't have the required discipline, the good habits and right conduct was not cultivated, but the concentration part was done through some, maybe his guru, somebody taught them, and they followed it, and through that they achieved some powers, some powers. So so the That's why many great men have ruined their careers. Careers means in the spiritual career. So great men have ruined their careers by aspiring early for concentration without discipline of good habits. So that's what I thought when I read it, but others can share.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. Anyone else would like to share thoughts?
And I'm just
Also-
curious, what is the words that Swami uses in Telugu for right conduct and good habits?
Better check it, yeah. Usually right conduct is the dharma. Sadhya dharma is right conduct in the Sanskrit usually. Then what's the other word?
Yeah.
Good habits.
Good conduct, good habits. And also this line where Swami says, this is not so difficult for those whose concentration is correct. So the correct concentration, what does that mean? Or is it said differently in Telugu?
No. Even in the absence of, suppose you are not in the Swami room, you are away, say you are in an open ground, still you can have the Swami's picture in your heart now. That is because of your concentration, correct concentration. That's what Bhagawan is saying, that one. Even in the absence of the form in front of you, you should have the capacity to visualize it. That is not so difficult for those whose concentration is correct. So if they have trained themselves correctly at home in the Swami room, then you don't need a picture again. Suppose you want to meditate on Swami on the bus, on the train, like that. That's a different meaning. But here the Kalyan is asking the Sanskrit terms for good habits and right conduct.
Auntie, I thought, yes, please, Auntie.
Yeah, that paragraph which says, sorry, కొంతమంది మంచి మార్గములను అలవాటు చేసుకొనుటలో శ్రద్ధ వహించక ధారణ ప్రారంభితురు, అది తెలివి తక్కువ. Some people, they don't మంచి మార్గములో అలవాటు చేసుకోరక. That is, discipline. I think what Swami is meaning is Shraddha. There is no Shraddha in following the discipline what Swami is telling us. So they start the dharana before understanding, before putting themselves into that disciplined way of following the path laid down by Swami. There, they fail if they don't follow the discipline. And that's what it is said. He said here. Satvika gunamulu kaligi unduta pradhanamu. For dharana, you have to have satvika guna.
Yeah, that is coming in the next line.
Next line, but before that, it is in the same whatever. Even though you don't have the picture of your dear Lord in front of you, you can visualize, and then you can you have that ability to bring back that picture into your heart.
Yeah, that is above the line. Yeah.
So Swami is actually saying you have to have the discipline.
Discipline, that's it.
Yeah. Discipline of any type, no? That
they are not taking proper Shraddha to follow the disciplined way.
Yeah. So he is saying in the other lines below, he is saying that brother pointed out that one, that is concentration has to follow this purification process, not precede it. So first we have to have the purification of mind.
Mind.
Then only we start concentration.
Dharana.
Yeah, dharana. So what happened is, if without cultivating purification, and if we undertake concentration, what will happen? The concentration might give you some power, but your instincts are hidden in your heart. So with the concentration power, you attract disciples, but the instinct in you, which was not removed before, can come up now and make you wrong. You can spoil your students also through whatever the way it is. So that's what the Sister Aruna asked, that the last line. No, many great men have ruined their careers by aspiring early for concentration without the discipline of good habits.
Because can we take like this? The mind has to be purified by proper treatment. Mean the words, the three karana sukti, the words, thoughts, deeds, supposed to be aligned. In that way, everything is going to be purified.
Yeah, that's the basic instincts, the anger, desire, these things.
Because anger, mind is the causing the desire and anger. So if you control the mind, there won't be desire and anger.
Purified.
Okay, thank
I don't know. Little idea. I think the conduct and the habits are the jama and nijama. You know, jama means.
Yeah.
So this one is conduct and the habit is the nijama. So that we should not be ahimsa, not to lie, and those are the conduct. So, and the other one is getting up early, taking bath, and so these are the jama and nijama, I think. I don't know. That is what I thought.
Thank you very much, Sister. Yes, the first two parts of the Ashtanga Yoga. Yama, it's basically sense control and mind control to some extent.
That's very good point, actually.
So which is what Swami is telling. Yes.
Go ahead, brother. Yeah.
No, this is what Swami is telling in different words, but the same thing what Sister is telling. Yes.
Yeah. Because we are going to the seventh step or eighth, seventh, eighth step before cultivating the first two. That's what this is. So.
So I thought, Swami has spoken quite a bit about great versus good. He says great means they are so accomplished. But the thing is, they have not cultivated to become good. Swami always gives, when he talks about great and good, Swami always gives the example of Ravana and Rama.
Yeah, correct.
He says Ravana was a great person. Rama was only a good person.
Yeah.
Because Ravana was much more, learned. He had done tapas for years. He has achieved so many great boons. So he was a great example of someone who had mastered concentration to such an extent to achieve so much in this world. He could even bring God down, to grant him the boons. But because he would not develop the discipline which was required, he ruined himself. Every notorious Rakshasa in our scriptures falls into this category. They have all been very, very successful because they developed concentration to such a great extent they could achieve anything. They could achieve any boons. But because the lack of discipline in some area caused great harm to themselves and others. And I think that's what Swami is sort of pointing out to us. So that we should not forget that the cultivation of good habits it has to precede any path of sadhana. That's what Swami. Maybe I think Swami is continuing on the same theme. Maybe sisters can read a little further. Is that so?
Make slow but steady progress. Again, in concentration, you must be careful not to have as the object something your mind does not like, for however hard you try, your mind will not stay on it. Therefore, in the beginning, have some object that is a source of joy. Sit in the lotus Padmasana pose and fix your eyes on the tip of your nose. In the beginning, for a minute, then for 3 minutes, some days later for 6, and after some time for as long as 9 minutes. Thus, the concentration has to be strengthened gradually, without undue hurry. In this way, it can be held for even half an hour with the lapse of time. But do not force the pace. Slowly and steadily, the discipline must be developed. With practice, the mind will get fixed and the power of concentration will increase. To attain concentration and acquire one-pointedness, you must undergo exertion to some extent. You must fasten your mind on the Lord and keep off all other thoughts from the mental plane. By constant exercise of this type, your vision will firmly fixed on the Lord's residing in your heart. That is verily the goal, the full fruition of meditation.
Thank you very much, sister. So Swami is going back to basics, I guess. I think sometime back we were thinking, how to do meditation, how long, all these questions Swami is sort of answering again. So I will just open it up for discussion. I think Swami is very simply, nicely told us what we should do. Saira.
So, Sairam, brother, Swami saying nicely the peace and the joy is mentioning about the one. Without the peace, the happiness, we cannot sit in one place and we cannot concentrate. And whatever the object we are looking, that one, we supposed to be enjoyable that object, that we have to feel inside the heart, that object. Then you can do you can meditate on the form. Thank you, Saira.
Thank you very much, brother. You brought up a very good point, which Swami reiterated the first paragraph, where Swami is saying the object should be something which you like. Only then you can concentrate, Swami says. So then we should ask the question, even if we say we are going to meditate on Swami, is that form actually giving us that joy? Do we like it so much? I think that's something which we can ask. And if we don't like it, how do we develop that liking? Because without that, we cannot think, we have because what Swami has said is, if you like it, meditation should be without any effort, because you won't be able to pull your mind away from the object. And that's the reality in life. Once we like something, we can't get it out of our head until we have it. So Swami says that's the type of relationship we have to develop with God also, But how do we develop? I think that may be something which we can discuss.
So, Sairam, brother, I like to bring up not nowadays, those days, so many years ago. If you like someone, so we bring that person to our heart, and we forget about the food, we forget about the parents, we forget about we look at the girlfriend or boyfriend. Okay, I'm talking about. So we don't think about anything. So that form, the whole form is within our heart. Then after marriage is disappear. That's the other story. So, but in the spiritual side, that's the way we have to cry for the God. We have to enjoy that form. We have to. That's what we are studying the study circle. We are learning the leelas. Then we will come to that kind of love. Thank you, Saira.
Thank you very much, brother. Thank you very much. Anyone else would like to share your thoughts, please?
Thanks, Sairam. In Patanjali, when Swami Vivekananda was explaining and the Patanjali Yoga Sutras, aphorisms, the sutras, so he was telling, actually Patanjali had mentioned it, so he was elaborating that he said, okay, the rose flower or lotus flower, you can keep the lotus flower in the heart or in your forehead, and so the attractive. So whatever that attracts us most. So in Bhagavan is saying, therefore, in the beginning, have some object that is a source of joy. So the beginning, so in that way, then I think, then that. So after that, they may want to take Swami's form. Swami saw the Guru saw Swami saw God's form. So I don't know whether it is relevant here. I don't know. And also in the second paragraph, Bhagavan is talking different from the first paragraph. And the nose, keeping eyes on the tip of the nose, is also for the beginning, it looks like. For the beginning, because earlier he said, Bhagavan said, for a beginning, concentrate on the tip of the nose, then concentrate on your deity. So here I think Baba is repeating, maybe because if we are not successful, we can try this through this concentration power. We can put it on our deity or Guru or God, Lord in our heart. Maybe a better brother, you have to explain it, what is really meant by this.
I will ask others, because Swami has already discussed, brother, what form we should have.
Yeah.
Whether we should focus on the Guru or whether we focus on God, also Swami has already discussed.
Yeah, so this nose business, the nose business, so coming for...
Sai Ram,
yeah.
Sai Ram, this is Akwanti. Looking at the tip of the nose, he said, just to avoid falling asleep. That's why he said to do that. We have learned it in the beginning, chapters, he has said it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sai Ram.
Auntie, I think the question is our nose so so good that we
I don't know, but if you are not closing your eyes completely, there's a chance that you will be able to keep awake. I mean, you will be able to do the meditation properly.
Thank you.
That's what I don't know. That's why I think. Thank you, Sai Ram.
Sai Ram, in Bhagavad Gita also, when the chapter where Dhyana comes, so Krishna also says the same thing, to concentrate, to fix your eyes on the tip of your nose. But for a long time, we cannot do it. It really gives a lot of pain. That is for sure.
Yeah.
Everybody has tried it. Yeah. So what Swami is trying to say is, as Sakuji said, it is not to fall asleep. We can look at the tip of our nose until we get that concentration, the ekagrata. Yeah. That will take us, it will take care of the dhyana itself. Sai Ram.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
Sai Ram, the source of joy up until now, they always in any type of meditation techniques or the tips, they always say, okay, bring in your mind a flower or chosen deity, or the up until now, no one told that, because I thought forcefully we have to, we have to bring our chosen deity or the flower, maybe the Swami said, whatever we bring into our mind, we should really like it, and Brother Thasan beautifully explained that, that's why all these days, the younger generation, they put they maybe iPhone in front of them, they meditate for hours and hours without having any problems, and my ultimate question is, even though flowers, the chosen deity, that is whatever the deity, that may be the inner meaning of that one, because we really love that deity. The flowers, even though there are so many beautiful flowers in the world, every flower in its own beauty, why we always say, bring the lotus in your heart? Maybe the lotus symbolizes, some sort of, the concept in it. Maybe that's why we always say, even in any meditation picture, they always put the lotus. Even the lotus not fully bloomed, maybe the half bloomed. The certain petals down, and the in the inner petals, it's like a dome shape. Is there any particular meaning symbolizing that the lotus flower for meditation?
Brother one day explained about this lotus and why lotus. One day explained so many things. I don't know about all this.
My way is, I don't know, I may be wrong, but I thought lotus is in mud, no? So our mind is always mud. So,
Yeah.
but there is lotus too. So that could be the symbol. So even though our mind is mud, but there is lotus.
Yeah.
So we forget the lotus part. So that could be one reason. I don't know. I'm just...
Yeah, that he brother explained. Kamalam and everything. Kamalam, kamalam. So the lotus grows in the in that mud, or what is called really.
Oh, that is the meaning of kamalam, ka plus malam.
Malam, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, malam is dirt, no? So kamalam is away from dirt, so purity. And always brother will explain, I think.
So just a clarification, but sister, I have never heard of. I know there are so many techniques which people talk about, focusing on some different things. But to my knowledge, Swami has not talked about us meditating on the lotus per se. I have not come across. Number one. Number two, yes, but many times the lotus of heart, Swami always talks about. Our heart should be like the lotus, even though there is filth, around. It can, even within that, it can blossom, but untouched by or anything that's capable. So the lotus sort of symbolizes, even though our mind can be polluted, within that we can find the lotus of heart to blossom, where we can install the Lord. Swami has spoken about that. So the lotus of heart will blossom and you install the Lord there, whatever you like. That I have heard being mentioned by Swami, which is, as brother has already explained, the lotus only blossoms as soon as it sees the sun. So the heart also will blossom as soon as it sees the Lord. But I think in this part, Swami is telling, all this time he's saying only concentrate on the Lord. And some time ago he has said, choose the form which you like the most. The name and the form which you like the most, you choose. But then now he comes and says, you take any object which is to your liking. That I think that's why I think. So when do we switch it? A question will come. So I thought.
Yeah, that's right. They have in the beginning have some, not everybody. Suppose people who really find it difficult to concentrate on Swami or whatever, they may attempt to have some flower, even
Object.
rose is mentioned in the Patanjali, the Raja Yoga, Swami Vivekananda. So it could, he is explaining so many light and so many things he suggested there. So it's for a start. And even the fixing the eyes on the tip of the nose also for the beginning. Baba explained it already there. So he is just, I think, because the book is coming to close, so he is trying to say some additional help in case people find it difficult. That's what this is. It looks like.
And also, I want to point, okay, this is I just told from just because I read a book said no mud, no lotus. So, but there is no connection. I never read about this. Why we compare the lotus for the mind or the heart. That I just connected with my reading book. Okay, so it is not related to the meditation. I just thought.
Yeah.
That could be the reason. It's just my thought. Okay, I didn't read anywhere.
No, okay, thank you very much, sister. Again, in any case, the third paragraph, Swami has said, you must fasten your mind on the Lord.
Yeah.
And keep all the thoughts from the mental plane.
Yeah.
So that is the goal, Swami has said.
That's a goal. Yeah.
That's the goal. And however you reach, don't forget to reach the goal.
Yeah.
I think that's a lesson, I think. Wherever you start. Maybe we'll go to the next slide, if it's okay. I think one more paragraph of this chapter, I think we'll just read that also.
Concentration, according to yoga scriptures, is the fixing of the mind on one object without any deviation. Concentration alone can make meditation successful. Its very nature is one-pointedness. Its power will negate hesitation. It is caused by spiritual bliss. The name is essential for meditation, for that alone can ensure quick success. Even if complete faith is not forthcoming quickly, the practice must not be given up or changed, for practice will certainly yield victory. Meditation is spiritual strength, the strength that will keep off the disease of worldliness, samsara.
Thank you, sister. Swami has introduced the name here. So far he spoke about the form, now he has introduced the name also. So he says both of them are essential for meditation. So it's, to some extent, Swami is sort of summarizing whatever he has been telling so far in the whole Vahini. Again, repeating that for us. So he has mentioned the name just after the form. And another point which Swami has mentioned is faith. He says even if complete faith is not forthcoming, we should not give up the practice. So I thought those are some points which stood out for me. I will open it up for your sharing of thoughts, please, Saira.
In this case, does the faith refer to like faith in the process of meditation, or is it relating to faith in God?
I think both, sister.
Okay.
Is my understanding. I will just because you asked the question, there were young students, when many students, just my experience going back, students have a problem. You get doubts. So one boy, one day got up and told Swami, I'm getting doubts about you. Okay. So Swami asked, oh, doubts, no problem. But do you have love? He has asked. Do you love? He said, yes, Swami. Then he said, that's enough. Just hold on to that. Because in reality, in life, even with people, if we have love for them, even if they did not do what we thought they should do, we will forgive them. The bond will not be broken. Trust alone will not keep a bond, but love will keep the bond going as long as life lasts. So that is, so faith is nowhere compared to love. That's why bhakti is love without any reason even. You love a person, however defective the person is, you will still love that. So developing love is much more important than even having faith. So once we have love for the Lord, whatever the Lord tells, we will do. We will not question. So it is a faith in the Lord, love for the Lord. I will do whatever the Lord has told me, with unquestioningly. That is that will in the end give the final result, is my understanding, Kalyani. So I hope that answers your question, Saira.
Brother, can you please explain that sentence too in a way? The name is essential for meditation. For that alone, why he put Swami said alone can ensure quick success. That
Okay, so
alone is causing. So there's some Swami trying to say something there. Thank you, Saira.
Okay, so maybe I will just say something and then others can join. See, in Sanskrit, the name is called Padam. The object is called Padartha. So I think in Sandhya Nivarana also we studied. What Swami says is, the name is the real thing. The object actually symbolizes or makes you understand what that name is. For example, if we say Rama, Rama is everything. But what is Rama means? You need to put a picture and then you say, oh, this is Rama. See, for example, if you take apple, your child will not understand what is apple. So you have to show the apple. But actually the real thing is the apple, the word apple. Okay, so the name is ultimately everything. But we don't maybe realize the value of it, because Swami will say, without the name, the object cannot even exist. Only through the name, the object will come into life. So that is why that is a fundamental thing. That's why Japam, Nama, Smarana, these are supposed to be very, very important, because even if you forget the form, it is not easy to forget the name. There are many people, you may not remember their face. I don't know how he looks, but you will remember the name. You will forget the form, but the names will stick because they are fundamental. That's my understanding, but I will ask others to share.
Thank you very much.
So I like to add to the point, brother. So Swami says the name is sweeter than the Lord. So when you are meditating, the meditate will control the mind. So that when you look at the form, then that form is going to be, you're going to see the form once you get successful. So so that is my understanding. So when you do that without what you call one-pointness, so definitely you can achieve the goal. Not only that, we have to understand, we have to ask the questions, what is the purpose of this life? We are given our age also, we are almost end of this chapter. So we have to ask, inquire ourselves, what is the purpose of the life? Now we are, so we have to do the meditation. We have to achieve the level of whatever we can. So we have to have the faith. Thank you, Saira.
Thank you very much. Anyone else would like to please?
Sir, I mean, one of the Tamil Thevarams, Nattava Unai Nan Marakinum, Sollum Nan Namasha. Even if my mind forgets the Lord, the sweetness of the name will be recited on my tongue.
Yeah.
Thank you, Saira.
Yes, thank you, thank you.
Because after reading, suppose we read all Satyam Sai Sundaram and all glories, all miracles and all glories and all Bhagawans, everything. After reading, we Sai, the word Sai, has a lot of potential after that. So the word itself contains a glory of that God. So as brother said, Namasmaranam means what? We think on the name. The name and its glory is automatically enshrined in the name. So even in Muslims, they don't have the form, but they have the name in their religion. Because so name is essential for meditation. For that alone can ensure quick success. So without name, if we keep the form and try to think of the form is difficult. But the form accompanied with the name, it is easier. That's what Baba is trying to say. So, thank you, Sarah.
Thank you very much, brother. Thank you.
Sister Manibhasham, this is what I am going to tell you, that the one day Brother Arul asked the meaning of samsara, and then I was talking about this worldliness now. So the samsara has several meaning, including worldliness. Is it correct?
So not only, yeah, it involves, it gives so many other meanings also. Not only the birth and death cycle.
Yeah. That I agree.
The bondage, it is bondage with people, with relatives, with objects, everything.
Yeah.
The bondage which we have developed with the outside world is also samsara.
Yeah. That's the thing.
Saira.
Thank you.
In Telugu, the last paragraph which it's on the screen. త్వరలో ఉత్తీర్ణత తెచ్చి ఇచ్చునది నామమే. త్వరలో అట్టి నమ్మకము కనిపించకుండినను సరే, నమ్మకము is faith. Faith, నామం మాత్రము మానరాదు. You should not change the name and you should not go for other names also. అట్లుండిన కొంతకాలమునకు తప్పక జయమును పొందుము. You will definitely succeed in your meditation. Keep the name. Just like in Tamil, how you said that even you forget the form, the name will remain in my heart. So in Kannada also we have this. Can I quote that from Purandaradasa?
Yeah.
It says, "Neenyako ninna hangyako." I don't need you. Ninna namada balavandiddare saku. The strength of your name is enough for me. So I don't need you also, but your name is enough for me. That's what in Kannada Purandaradasa's wordings are there. Saira.
Thank you.
At the same
Just
time,
a
brother,
question.
go ahead, Kalyani.
Go ahead. No, this is Shivani.
Okay, go ahead, Shivani. Thank you.
Just a question. So, yes, we have learned that how name is so powerful. Then Swami has said his own form. So, if one take his name with full devotion, with full love, faith, but not in front of the shrine, not in sitting in the pose of a lotus, but all the time, whenever, even sitting down, maybe on a sofa or cooking, but that for 1 minute or 2 minutes or 3 minutes, if one take his name with full concentration, love, can we say that it's meditation, like the person is meditating?
So brother, I like to say on that kind of thing. So in Kali Yuga, once you take the name, you will get liberated. But the last death of time, if you say the name, that's what Shastra is saying. Swami said in the book, when that time comes, if you say Swami or any Lord name, you will be liberated. For that, you have to practice. So you can come out from no sea of mundane of existence. So the name is very powerful. Thank you. That's a thing that Swami is given only Namaswaranam and the service. It will liberate you. Thank you, Saira.
Thank you very much, brother. Anyone else would like to comment? Yes, please.
Sarah, for the meditation, that name and the forms are very important, essential. Until go to a certain stage, that until we go to that the samadhi stage, we need name and form. After that, form will disappear. So one says, after that we merge with the God. I guess that's until that the name and the form are very essential. So I'm saying. And that until when we are practicing that meditation, we cannot change the name and form frequently. That's not right. That's why I'm saying is that you stick with one form and one name. That's what. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you very much, brother.
Sairam, brother, for Shivani's question, I will take it that even in your cooking time, when you're thinking of Lord, that also meditation. I will take it because Swami at the beginning of this meditation, one of the chapter he was saying, you can start right away, kind of. So once you learn and practice, you can meditate at any point of time, kind of. That's the way I would take it. Thank you, Sairam.
Thank you very much, Sachin. Anyone else would like to share any thoughts?
Thank you. And on the same line, Shivani's question is that, okay, she's doing Namasmaranam in the kitchen or wherever. So that is more advantageous than sitting in Swami room and meditating for 10 minutes or 15 minutes. So that could be meditation as well. But when we recite the name within the heart or outside the heart, that form also is within it. It reflects, the form also reflects in the name. No? So it is not name alone. It is the form also inside it. So and Namasmaranam is the most powerful spiritual sadhana recommended. So I agree with Swani's.
Because the reason I said that,
Yeah.
it has been my practice that whenever unwanted thought comes, when I take his name, those thoughts doesn't come. I mean, over a period of time, the practicing, that doesn't come, that disappear. So my question is, if those thoughts don't come, then in a way it's a meditation, because I'm not alone, or no, whoever does with that devotion and your thoughts, unwanted thoughts don't come, basically you are maybe concentrating, maybe not his picture, but the name is so powerful, those thoughts don't come to you. So in a way, it can be considered as meditation if people don't have time.
Sairam, and when I look at the first part of that, maybe the sentence, Swami says, name is essential for meditation. Swami doesn't say Namasmarana is meditation. Swami says the name is essential for meditation. Maybe that's two different things. Maybe in order to have an effective meditation, the Namasmarana will help us. But chanting the Lord's name in anywhere, everywhere, may not be a meditation. Maybe that could only, it could be a Namasmarana. Namasmarana, in my personal view, it could be different from meditation. It's chanting the name of the Lord or Namasmarana is essential, but not necessarily that would be considered as meditation. That is my humble point, It is essential, but it's not necessarily considered to be a meditation. Thank you, Saira.
Sairam, this is Saku Auntie. I agree with Anandi, Sister Anandi. The continuously you say Baba's name at any time is called japa, but when you are doing meditation, it has to be at the proper time, daily, and the proper pose which you have already chosen, and it has to be concentrated by not doing anything, completely in the Padmasanam, and Bhagawan has said it, the posture and everything, that becomes meditation. So one is japa and the other one is meditation. Thank you, Saira.
Thank you very much. Anyone else would like to share any thoughts, please?
Sairam, I like that points, whatever Sister Anandi and Saku Auntie is definition about the meditation. So you sit in one place and you meditate on the particular form and say the Namasvarana, that is called meditation. Other ones called just saying the name, that's only Namasvarana. Thank you, Sairam.
Sairam, I don't know. I have not much knowledge you all like you all have, okay? But this is my argument. Say, if I'm the beginner of meditation, I should sit in that pose and I should follow all those. Once I became matured on that, and say if I go to the other stage, from the meditation to the other stage, I think that may not be, but we cannot. As a human being, in this world, we cannot go to that stage. But for example, if I ride a bicycle, as a beginner, I have to hold both my hands on the handle and I have to ride it. But once I become expert on it, I can, take my both hands off and play some games and while riding the bicycle. So it depends on the maturity level of the meditation. But for us, I am sure for all of us, we have to sit in a corner and do it. I am sure we have enough time. Just 20 minutes a day, I think we have time. So not having time is not an excuse, but for the matured person who has expert in meditation, they can do. Because I one example is Sarada Ramakrishna Paramahamsa's Sarada Deviyar. She used to say that while cooking also, why you people cannot do anything? You can do meditation while cooking. So that is my argument. It depends on the maturity of our stage.
Thank you very much, sister. Anyone else would like to share your thoughts?
Sairam, brother, after your conclusion, I know there's little things need to be clarified. I think for the next study circle, maybe. Now the confusion here is name, now namaswaranam, all these things need to be cleared to understand more on this. Thank you. Just thanks.
Yeah, okay. I think we can discuss. It's 4:15. So maybe if it's okay, a lot of good points have been expressed. Maybe I'll just go over a few of them and then we'll close if it's okay. For this, I always take example of an expert sports person. For example, if you are, a basketball player or a tennis player or anyone, their life itself is now they are the most expert sportsmen in the world. If you're an Olympic athlete. But what do? Is their entire life is focused on that. They basically they will not give up practice. They will every day morning they will practice. They will exercise. But are they good sportsmen? They are wonderful. No one can match it. But even if they give up the regular practice, they will lose the ability to play well or to even function at that level. So meditation has two aspects. One is, I think, in the morning or evening, we have to do that. Is a regular must. So that, but that is not the end. Because as Sister Shivani said, she asked, is my thinking of the Lord during cooking? Is my thinking of the name during the thing? Does that constitute meditation? I think was her question. Swami has spoken about it. For example, he will say, when you're cooking, you chant the name and cook, which is good. As Sister Anandi said, it is namasmarana. But the thing is, how do we then meditate? Is the second question which comes. Okay. Swami has given the answers in some discourses. He will say, you think that you're cooking for the Lord. You think the Lord will like this food. For the Lord, I had to cook it this way. If you're sweeping the house, you think the Lord is going to come, so I have to keep it clean. So the thing is, even though you are doing some work, you're doing it in anticipation of the Lord's arrival. So the thing is, the mind is actually engrossed in the thought. So if you are spreading something, you will ask the question, will Swami like it? So every action in our life actually can become a meditation, because meditation is nothing but thinking of the Lord. Because if you arrange a chair, you will say, or you will imagine, the Lord is going to come and sit like this. When you arrange the plate, you will imagine that the Lord is going to sit here and eat. So the thing is, that is meditation. But sometimes we can mechanically keep on saying the name. That will, as Sister Anand said, it is just japam, maybe a good thing, but it may not be everything. So I think, see, in Sathya Sai Speaks, the first volume, there is a chapter called Japa Sahita Dhyana, you know. I think it's the 5th chapter in, so you can imagine Swami's, you know, in 1950s, so 50s, early 60s, I think Swami must have delivered the discourse. There he's talking about it. He says, do japa and do the meditation. Both have to go hand in hand, and one will help each. One will help the other one, is what Swami has said. So both of them are slightly different, as I think what many of the participants have said. Both are essential to, you know, help, and our morning and evening practice is equally important, and that is of no use if we are unable to continue it throughout the day. And that's also practice, and I think that's what Sister Shivana said. So I think very different points have been shared, very wonderful points for all of us to remember, contemplate on, and hopefully all this will strengthen our baby steps in the path of dhyana. With those thoughts, I think we'll close for today, and we will continue next week. Thank you very much. Sai Ram.
Jai Ram.
Om Samasta Loka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samasta Loka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samasta Loka Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Sai Ram, everyone.
Jai Ram.
Sai Ram.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sai Ram.